Before I retired, I worked retail in an independent agency of the federal government. Customers tended to come in already highly upset and yelling from the moment their feet hit the floor. So I have tons of stories. This is one of the best though. So this particular man had a reputation for being very unreasonable. I don't even remember what he was yelling about that day, but he wasn't letting me say a single word, or I would have excused myself to get a manager. While I'm staring at him and waiting for him to take a breath, I thought I saw a wisp of smoke go by his ear. It's been a long shift and I'd recently had a medication change, so I thought it was just me. My eyes were starting to cross by this time anyway. He continued to yell and the wisps kept coming until it was a solid stream of smoke coming from his shirt. I have no idea how he didn't see, smell, or feel it. He still has yet to slow down or pause for breath. Finally, out of desperation, I slammed my hands down on the counter and yelled, "Sir, you're on fire!" Turns out he had tried to extinguish a cigarette before entering the building and put what was left in his shirt pocket. It wasn't completely out though, and his shirt caught on fire. What is going on, fellow flock members? Birdman1216 here, back with another Reddit exploration video. Before I start today's video, I'd like to thank everyone so much for reaching nearly 200 subscribers in the short time I've had this channel. The growth I've seen is unprecedented and very unexpected. I'd also like to apologize for not uploading the past few days, as I've had some things in my personal life happening, which prevented me from uploading. With that out of the way, here's episode 1 of r/Tales from Retail. The first story I have for you guys today is called Doesn't Have the Receipt, Doesn't Have the item itself, Still Wants a Price Adjustment. Okay, this is a long one, but definitely the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to me in retail. A few months ago, a woman came in requesting to exchange a sweater. She didn't have the receipt because her friend had bought it for her. Not a problem since she was just exchanging for a different size. But then she noticed that we were currently having a better sale than when her friend had bought the sweater, and she wanted her friend to be reimbursed for the difference. She was already missing our price adjustment deadline by a day, but I told her that if she could find the record of her friend's original purchase using her email, I'd make it work. So she called her friend, got the email address, and I started to pull up the associated purchase history. The way the system is set up, you can see the date and location for any purchase in the past 30 days associated with that email. You can only see the purchased items themselves if you 1. Select a specific purchase to see the SKUs, or 2. Scan the item that they're returning, in which case the computer finds the match for you. I scan the sweater and find that it's not on any of her friend's recorded purchases, meaning that maybe she didn't give us her email when purchasing and or paid for it with cash, or that it was stolen, but we are encouraged not to insinuate this to the customer. Anyway, I tell her that without proof of purchase I can't offer a price adjustment, so we can either do an exchange for size, which doesn't require a receipt, or she can come back later with the receipt and we can do the exchange and the price adjustment at the same time. Around this time, she brought up a jacket that her friend had also bought for her that she wanted a price adjustment on as well. A jacket that she didn't even have with her. I told her that without the jacket or a proof of purchase, I couldn't do anything. Then she started to get really mad, saying that she knew I could pull up the proof of purchase on my computer and that I was just being difficult. And I suppose that I technically could have sifted through the SKUs of her friend's past purchases looking for a match to the jacket she said she bought. But that to me seemed really shady, and at a certain point enough is enough. So I held my ground. She got absolutely pissed, saying I was going back on my word, that I was horrible at my job, that she would never shop here again, and that she would convince her friend to never shop here again as well. I managed to calm her down and communicate that it wasn't anything personal, just policy that I couldn't do the size exchange without a receipt, but that if she wanted a price adjustment for her friend, I would need her to come back with a proof of purchase for both the sweater and the jacket. She seemed to understand and actually continued shopping, though my coworker said she badmouthed me to them in the meantime. Very petty. Middle school tactic for a grown woman, so I was more bemused than offended. But when she got to the register and I rung up her purchase, including a no-charge record for the size exchange, she once again got extremely angry. She apparently thought that she was going to get the exchange at that time and come back with the receipt to adjust the price on the sweater she had already returned later. All of a sudden, I'm trying to explain to this woman that if she wants the price adjustment, she can't return the sweater now, or she won't have it when she wants to do the price adjustment. There will be nothing to adjust the price on. Again, the ranting and raving about how much I suck as an employee and as a human being. Thinking back, I should have called security, but I think I was in shock. She bought a few things, angrily, didn't exchange the sweater, called the store after closing time to yell at me some more. The next day she came back with the receipt and the other manager was able to process it with no trouble at all because she had the proof of purchase. She reportedly said, "I know I was a bitch last night, but so was the other girl, me. I was perfectly civil, never raised my tone, never talked back, just told her something that she didn't want to hear. I thought to myself, if that's her threshold, I pity her and how she must feel about her life. Then, a couple weeks later, she came in again, shopped like everything was normal. I honestly wondered if she didn't recognize me. Then she asked me if a dress she was considering would match the jacket she made such a fuss about last time. And that was it. No apology, no embarrassment or wishing we could forget, but still admitting she had caused a scene. It was actually a little unnerving, and I wonder now if she might not be an actual narcissist or psychopath. I guess I'll never know. I got a new job and was finally able to quit retail. My last shift was last Saturday, and today is my first real weekend. Now, I've never worked in retail myself, but I have certainly seen things like this go down while shopping in retail places. Retail stores just bring the most entitled, like straight from your nightmare people you can even imagine. So I'm dreading the day I inevitably end up working in retail because I do not want to deal with people like her. This next story is called Customers Are Offended Because I'm Doing My Job. Sounds like a normal day at work to me. Hiya there. This is a more light story since I'll post the more tense or juicier ones on a throwaway. Anyways, this just happened a few days ago and I'm still kind of snickering at this customer. So I'm a cashier at a retail store and it was a somewhat busy day. The rain hardly repelling any customers from shopping as it usually did. So I had to ring up these two ladies who had 3 large suitcases. At this store, we have to check the bags and luggage as there are instances of children putting merchandise, sensors, etc. into them at times. So as I rung up the luggage, I unzipped the suitcase a bit so I could peek inside. As I was doing this discreetly, the lady and her friend looked offended and then began to chat among themselves, but loudly so I can hear. It went something like this. I don't know why they would open up and check our luggage, as we would never do something to stuff merchandise in that suitcase. I know, right? People are so crazy for doing that. We would never. I was slightly annoyed as I heard this. I kinda expected this reaction as people get offended that I ask for their ID when they have large purchases and are about to use their credit card. However, I tried to make them relax a bit since they thought they were being specifically targeted. Oh, well, sometimes children find loose sensors and put them into the bags or luggage, and then I proceeded to tell them about the one instance of this happening and how it triggered the alarms at the front of the store before we were required to check bags and luggage. They were somewhat relieved, but still looked offended that I had the audacity to check their stuff. I don't know what the story is actually. Sorry if it's too basic and common, but I'll post my more intense ones on throwaways. I actually tend to like the simpler stories that aren't as complex and don't have as many moving parts because that's what makes them more believable and has me more inclined to believe that they actually happened. When things happen too crazily or too perfectly, it's a recipe for the story not being an actual event, but being how someone wished something played out. So personally, I don't believe that this story is too simplistic because it's just simple enough to the point where it could have actually happened. Our final story today is called Some Guy Gave Me $100 for Being a Good Cashier. This happened just yesterday, Valentine's Day. It was a normal day at the grocery store when suddenly a man approached me. I assumed I did something wrong per my anxiety and was expecting the worst. So I'm standing there wondering what I did wrong as he whips out 5 $20 bills. I figured maybe I gave him too much change or something. Then he says, "You really made my day, son. You were the sweetest to me and my wife, and I loved hearing about you and your fiance's relationship. So here's something special for you two to have a nice night out together for Valentine's Day." Per company policy, I did my best to deny the tip, but he insisted. So I sat it down on my register. My customers in line were as shocked as I was. Some dude just handed me $100. Like, that's pretty wild of a situation. I dialed into my phone by the register to the service desk and told them my situation, and a whole bunch of people came over. The main woman who supervises me counted the money. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Yep, the guy gave him $100. Her jaw might as well have been on the floor at this point. She explains to me that it'll be up to the front desk for 30 days. I'm assuming in case he regrets it and wants it back before then. It kinda sucks because we couldn't use it for what the man intended, a nice Valentine's Day dinner, but hell, I appreciate that he gave me $100. That'll probably go towards part of my bills. Thanks, random guy. And I've only been working here for like a week, so I'd say it's a good sign that I'll end up being a good addition to their team if I literally got $100 from a random customer for being good at my job. Update, cashier lead said it's in the system and I will be receiving the tip. See, now I appreciate how wholesome of a story this is, but I don't know how believable it is. I mean, of course I'd like to think that there are still extraordinary people out in the world who do things like this. But when you find stories like this online, you just kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. Because, I mean, people will do anything for free internet points, and this guy sounded like he was kind of psyching himself up a bit in the story itself, and he was talking about how he'd only been there for a few weeks, and I think he just wanted to think he was doing more than he was doing. Well, that's all the time I have for you guys today. Once again, just thank you guys so much for nearly 200 subscribers in the short time I've had this channel. And I do read all your criticisms in the comments below, and all the compliments of course too, and I'm working my best to deal with what I have. I'm still a very small channel and working on the fine details of where I want my channel to progress. So while I do appreciate constructive criticism in the comments below, most of what you guys are saying are things that I already know but have little to no control over in my present situation. So just know that if you comment something obvious, I will probably give you a smart-ass obvious response into it, because chances are I already know what's happening. With everything out of the way, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I'd appreciate giving it a like and hitting the subscription button if you haven't already. This is Birdman1216, signing out. As always, links to all the original stories can be found in the description box below.